Chopping it up.
We gonna get down to the truth.
Chopping it up.
What up, brother?
You know what it is.
So I'm gonna sit at your picture all night? No way. Ah,
You know
dang
what
it.
it is.
Oh
I
shit,
mean,
you got younger, brother.
it's a better look if
Florida,
you just look at
Florida
my
been
picture.
good to you, man.
It's a better look if you just look at the picture. Look at that. Sun all day. 272 days of hot
For
weather.
real,
sun.
man. Oh my God. I'm gonna get into that too. But hey, we got Chance in the house tonight. Let me get into this bio real quick. John Chance Acevedo has been residing and hosting for over a decade. As the eldest of three, he receives his inspiration from everyday life situations and most commonly uses a blend of comedy and drama to reflect his real life experience. Chance has become recognized in many poetry venues and universities, which he has been a featured performer at, such as the Bowery Poetry Club, Semi Underground, Cornelia Street Cafe, our own Spoken Word, The Green in LA, the New Eurekan Poets Cafe, of course, Amherst University. I'd love to hear how that one went. Boston University, Fordham University, John Jay College, Pace University, Sarah Lawrence College, to name just a few. He's everywhere. He is like shit. He's everywhere. This is my man, John Chance Acevedo. He's been the host for No Intros, Urban Voices Heard, Right Out Loud. That was you and LaTanya, right? Urban Voices Heard?
That was Latanya. I was just
you was the host. You weren't just, you never just, my man.
I was just the accessory.
Sunday Spoken Word Showcase. He hosts and co-curates monthly shows for Latinos NYC, New Moves Entertainment, Artist Appreciation Show, and for the Artist Collective Poetry Project. Chance also hosted the first annual New York Hip Hop Dance Conventions at Sony Studios. Perfect fit. I always said you was a hip hop poet to me. Chance has been published in Raul Maldonado's The Company We Keep, Erato, Park Slope Poetry Project, the BX Files, and Me No Habla with Acento, where I was also in that with him. Chance is a founding member of the hardest working poetry troupe on the scene, El Grito de Poetas, a collection of diverse Latino and one Latina dedicated to the craft and performance of modern poetry. Chance's confident stage presence makes him a performer to watch. Let's get it, brother. I got it. You know what? I used to do that. You know why I don't do that anymore? Kat hates it.
Oh,
she
yeah?
hates it. And speaking of, now I heard rumor that you did not like that. That's what I heard. I get the inside information. Is that true?
That is 100% true.
Yeah, see, my sources are good, brother.
Anytime they would do it, I'd be like, I'm not doing shit. That's dumb.
Awesome. See, I love my job. All right. Well, let me say it's truly an honor to interview a living legend in the poetry community, my brother. For real. So let's get to it, man. When you get to the core, in your own words, who is Chance?
That's an onion, man. There's layers. There's layers
Like
to
Shrek.
that. You know, I'm it's funny because when during the whole grito thing, we were talking about being Latino and being, you know, in Latinidad. I'm looking around, I'm like, yo, I'm the only authentic one here. I tell them, I'm like, yo, I'm authentic. Like, I'm a real immigrant. Y'all like / American. I'm like, I'm still trying to find, you know, my green card. And it was crazy. But, you know, I'm a born in Colombia. I don't know, man. You know, I'm certified asshole. But I got a big heart. I'm everyone's mentor, whoever's willing to listen. And I'm about building community, like real community, not just talking about building community. Like, you know, like I'm one of the few people who, when you talk about building community, is authentic, not let's build community, you know, with strings attached. Let's
Right,
not
right.
build community with you know, just as long as you can get me somewhere.
Yes,
Like
I
that's
hear
not
you.
what I do, you know, and that's
Nah,
why like
nah.
I troll people. You know, I'm America's favorite troll. I don't care where I am. I my saying for a long time hosting is like, look, I made all my friends in high school. Everybody's an added bonus. Like if we that
Nice,
cool afterwards, you an added bonus. But I already made my friends in high school. I can care less about anybody. You
nice.
know,
Yeah,
it's
you
like
always say
kids.
that,
Like
yeah.
I look at my kids every 2 minutes. Oh, my friend in school. I'm like, you ain't got no friends. I'm your only friend. Cut that out. Um,
Nice.
but to the core, that's who I am, man. I'm an educator, you know, mentor, father, poet. Um, I like to, you know, self-proclaim asshole, and I
Not
have
not
no
just
problems
not
with
just
that.
self-proclaimed.
Yeah. It's
I
funny
I
because
I think you're awesome though. You know that, but you know,
everybody I've
hey,
worked with, everyone I've worked with has always said, like, yo, how they have told me that people who speak to them are like, yo, how do you work with that dude? Like, I don't know how you work with him. I can't. Like,
I think me and you, right? Because I'm a cynic. So like I can see I see the feelings caught, you know, when you're up there. Like but it's funny to me. I think it's love and I think it's real. But you spoke all right, I don't want to like keep talking about Grito, but how did I know you are a founding member, so how did that group come together and how did you become a part of it?
so many moons ago, like 2004, 2003, I was doing a lot of open mics, and I was an open mic whore. Everywhere there was an open mic from 1999, I was there. And at that time, like I knew I had a little something, but I came up in an era where Mo Brown was, you know, doing open mics, and she was around. I came up in the era where you had Ngoma
Nice.
being a slam, you know, he was slamming, doing the instrumental slam. And I'm talking about people who are out there, you know, Daniel Beatty, all these people, big names, Nathan P, Carlos Andres
Mm,
Gomez. This is when the New York Poets Cafe was, you know, Rainmaker was on the slam team, Falu was on the slam
yes.
team, Nathan P was the slam master, and Mo Brown was the co-captain. This is when at the Bowery Club, it was Marty McConnell. I mean, well, Bar 13, it was Marty McConnell, Roger Bonaire, Agard, and all these people just doing big things, big things, big things. This is at a
Yeah.
time where everyone who was on the stage, their pen was funky. And I'm just there taking it all in, just listening and trying to see what's going on. And then I started to realize, yo, there are rarely any Latinos on stage.
Mm,
So I was like, where's our story? And then as I just kept doing open mics, I started running into, I was like, oh, they do exist. There are more Latinos out here doing poetry, but it was far and few in between. So I ran into Fish, my brother Fish, and then I ran into Oscar Bermeo. They was like, yo, come to Bar 13. But I kept doing my own thing, just everywhere, just going everywhere, everywhere. Bar 13, Bowery, Nuyo. And then High Priestess, ran into her. She was doing poetry, I was doing poetry. And then we just kept meeting up at different spots. And I was like, look, I said, wouldn't it be cool if we had like the Wu-Tang clan of Latino poetry? And she was like, oh, that would be dope. And we held auditions. We held auditions at Mocha Lounge, which is now a pizza shop up in Harlem. Mocha
mm.
Lounge, and we did it with permission of hottest poets Matt McCoy, who he hosts that joint. And he came and he was just like, yo, just take one of our Tuesday nights before the erotic show and have your audition. It's not a deal, not a big deal. So we went ahead and we did fake auditions, right? And I call them fake auditions because in the back of our mind, we already knew who we wanted to be a part of it. So
that's so you, man.
yeah, so word shows up. Word shows up, and I'm like, I've never heard of words.
Word.
So I'm like, who the hell is this dude advocate of words? How you advocate words with a list, bro? So I'm talking shit the whole time. Like, bro, really advocate of words? Like, who is this clown? And he went up there, he did his piece. I'm like, oh, okay. And he was just like, yeah, I got my brother. So Words and Chilo were part of 21 Poets. So when we started doing our thing, I just started, High Priestess was like, look, we need to do this. And like, this is what we're thinking about. And then True came on. And then next thing you know, it was Advocate of Words, Chilo, Majestic, myself, High Priestess, Fish, Rich Villar was there for like 20 minutes. Carlos Andres Gomez missed our first meeting because he didn't know what building to go to in Alphabet City. Ovius Maximus, and he had just started doing poetry because I gave him his first feature.
Nice.
Dude, it was a bunch of us.
It's been a minute and you've been doing
yeah,
this.
and
You know
then
what I mean?
and then from there, that's how we started. We just grinding out, seeing if this thing catches. And then little by little, people was like, look, I can't do this because I have other things I'm working on. So, you know, people started falling off, and then we just kept going with what we knew how to do. And it was just talking about, you know, our stories, talking about who we were as Latino poets. And then I guess me doing all of that, running around and working, it wasn't until I see my brother on here, Eric Crow Draven, Nathan P, and Feliciano, we did this show called Machismo Redefined. And then that started picking up, like, okay, with Chances doing this and Chances doing that. And I already started hosting like 5-6 shows a month. The Nuyo, Bowery, stuff for at Semi Underground. And I was just doing a whole bunch of stuff with just a bunch of people. And I was at everybody's open mic, just trying to get my name out there. Not really. I was just having fun. No responsibilities, no kids. Just what? There's an open mic. I'm there.
Yeah.
I ain't care what was going on. I'm there. I'll be there. And then I started picking up. And then one of my homies, this is how I really got started hosting. One of my homies, she was a salsa dancer. She heard I did poetry. She was like, look, why don't you host a show for me? A restaurant called Uguali's, way downtown. It was on like Christopher Street by the water next to the pier. We showed up.
And this was your first one.
This is my first ever hosting gig. Almost peed my pants, scared to death. But the coolest thing about it was the show was supposed to be from 7 to 11. She had flyers out. She did the whole thing, the whole setup. Everything was cool. 7 to 11. No one showed up. Right? Nobody showed up. 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock, nobody's there. 8:30, nobody's there. 9 o'clock, we about to leave. 35 people show up at the same damn time. And she was like, guess we got a show.
Nice.
She was like, I guess we got a show. And I was like, I guess we got a show. And then after that, we did the show to 55 people. I had called homies that I knew did poetry, like, yo, come out. They came out, we did the thing. And then the next day, a homie from the block, you know, he was a drug dealer. He was like, yo, I do this poetry thing. I heard you do poetry. I'm like, bro, nothing about you tells me you do poetry. You out here every morning when I'm going to school. You out here every night when I come back from school. Bro, do you know what an email is? And he was just like, come on, bro, just come with me. And I went, yo, I've never seen one of the hardcore drug dealers like terrified of being in front of the public. Like he was on stage and his paper was just like, I was just like, yo! I'm like, this dude busts his gun. I've seen him bust his gun. And he's afraid of talking in front of people. The best thing I've ever seen. And I did a show for him. And then after I did the show for him, the lady who used to run that show calls me up and she was like, "Hey, do you mind hosting when he can't?" And I'm like, "I've never hosted. I hosted one time before, but I don't mind hosting." I said, "I think it'll be fun." And I ended up doing that show for 7 years, standing room only. I had everybody who's anybody come. I didn't care, at that time there were a lot of places where you had to have had like 6 published books, been on 3 slam teams, won all these accolades and medals. And I'm like, yo, my homegirl Jamaica from down the block is spitting.
And you still do that.
My homegirl Chanel Gabrielle from up the street is spitting. Oh, this dude named Ovius is doing his thing. Like, I don't know if y'all heard of Rich Villar, but Rich Villar is like, that dude is dope to me. Like, let me put y'all onto some real people. That's what happened.
I love that. And that, you know what? That's just what me and Kat do. And that's that, like that goes with what you said earlier and about when you have these I don't want to say clicks, but you have these events that you have to have some kind of thing instead besides your talent to get on. And when we did LCAT, we said we just want to make sure that they have something that moves people, that moves the heart and soul. That's what you're doing, man. That's what you said. And it's like it's not about your accolades or all that, or the master's degree or the bachelor of arts or your features or your published work, man. If you dope and you can move the crowd and be who you are, and that's beautiful. You still doing that to this day. To this day, you be hooking people up.
Yeah, man. I like
them on.
That's what I continue to do, man. Like I don't know. Even from a distance, somebody will call me up like, "Yo, do you know anybody who can?" I'm like, "Yo, I got you. Give me 20 minutes."
Absolutely. And you know what? When you were talking about Grito, you forgot somebody. I just want to give a shout out to Tito because
well, Tito came afterwards.
I know, but he's still
Tito was part of the under new management group. And it's interesting how we met Tito because who was it? Chris Slaughter.
Mm-hmm.
We met True through Chris Slaughter.
Wait, pause. I want to get Chris Slaughter on this, so help me out there. Continue.
Chris Slaughter. Chris Slaughter had we already knew True from Chris Slaughter because they had a group together.
Mm-hmm. And
then Slaughter was hosting this other event. Everybody kept talking about like, "Yo, you gotta come check out this Mexican. There's this Mexican dude, tall Mexican." I was like, first of all, there's no such thing as a tall Mexican. So, right? So that was my whole thing. My whole thing was like, "Yo, there ain't no tall Mexicans, so you lying. There's no way." And then he was like, "Nah, bro, you gotta come." And this was at Human Bookstore in Brooklyn, right across the street from what is that? From LIU, Brooklyn, and the school down there, right by the McDonald's. So I show up, and there's this dude with a high energy, 1,000 miles and running. And I was like, "Yo, who is this dude?" And it was funny because he's
a tall Mexican.
Does his piece. I'm like, "Oh, that's the tall Mexican? Okay. All right, he's a tall Mexican." Tito does his piece, and Chris Slaughter is just on the side, like, "Yeah, this is the dude I've been talking about." So, with the way we did things with Grito, it was like, all right, it's okay if I liked him. It's okay if one other person liked him, but it was a majority rules thing. Mm-hmm. So we all had to have like everybody had to be in it. So it was funny because, you have some people who was just like, "Nah, we don't, what is he bringing to the table?" And I was like, well, first of all, he's Mexican. I said, we don't see many Mexican artists out here. And then the other part was, he speaks Spanish, clearly. Like it wasn't the New Yorker Spanish that Chilo was halfway speaking, or that Words was halfway speaking. It was like clear Spanish. It was like, "Yo, that'd be dope."
Yeah.
But that's the way we did it. But yeah, Tito's family. He's always been family.
Yeah, he's dope. Tell me, so how did you get the name Chance?
All right. High school. I was in high school. I haven't been much taller than my high school days. In high school, I was like 5'2", 95 pounds soaking wet with a ton of bricks in my pocket.
Point guard,
And,
right?
and I was the only freshman on the basketball team. So we were playing the game. The coach is like,
This was real. I didn't believe you when you said you were on the basketball team.
Yeah, I ball out. I'm pretty okay.
I believe you if you say so.
So we're like tied for first place with some school, and the coach is like, yo, their shortest guy is 5'11". And I'm talking my shit. I'm like, bruh, I don't care. I'm in his pockets. I'm in his pockets. I don't care. Let's make it happen. So to start the game, I go to this, like, I guess the 5'11" guy was the only other guard, and here's me, 5'3.5". And I go to him and I hold his hand. From jump, I hold his hand. I was like, it's me and you tonight. Right? So he pushes me. Ref is like, yo, what's the problem? Dude's like, yo, ref, he's holding my hand. I get the ball, come down the middle. Big man, 6'5", throws me on the ground. Foul. Take the ball out. I go do it again. Cut down the middle. Go for the layup. And one. Dude throws me to the ground again. And one.
Nice.
Dude gets upset. He gets teched. He leaves the game. Next dude comes. And I'm just picking them off one by one. I go to the other side. Go up. Foul. I get thrown on the ground again. Coach is like, yo, you need to stop taking all them chances. Yo, you're going to hurt yourself. You're going to hurt yourself. And then in one, instead of saying John, he said, yo, Chance, stop taking all those Johns, because he was confused. Next day, everybody's like, yo, Chance. I'm like, what are you guys talking about? Yo, Chance. Who says that, you need to chill out. You need to chill out. And that's how I got the name Chance. And then I just adapted it to, you can't live life thinking what if. Like, you just can't. You always have to take chances and see where the pieces fall. You can't. I was never one to be like, yo, I wonder what would have happened if, or what if this, or what if that.
Ain't nothing to it but to do it. Oh yeah, I believe you. I believe you will not see. When you first said you were a ball player, I was like, you didn't go into it.
Yeah, I mean,
but now you went into it. Like, that's where your name came from. It's funny though.
Yeah.
It's funny how it's not like you was like, yo, I'm gonna be Chance because of all that good shit you said right now.
Nah, it was yeah, man. It was basketball. I played basketball, and it's funny because every neighborhood I moved into, that was my saving grace. Like, if I needed to know, like, even when I came down to Florida, the first when I left Upper West Side of Manhattan, Douglas Projects, and moved to the Bronx, with my wife, first place I looked for was a basketball court. I looked for a hair braiding place and then a basketball court.
That's one of my hometowns, Douglas Projects.
Yeah. That's me.
Yeah, right by Rocksteady Park.
Yeah.
103, yeah.
So
who would you say inspired you to be a poet?
My third grade teacher and my sixth grade teacher. My third grade teacher, because she had read a book and she was like, there was still like 4 or 5 pages left in the book. And she was like, all right, close the book. And the homework assignment was, you write the ending.
Ooh, like
and we was like, the hell is she talking about? Write the ending. Like, you write the ending. So we all wrote an ending. And then the ending that I wrote was a little morbid. It was about a girl named Jessica who wanted to stop coming to school. And the only reason she wanted to stop coming to school is because if she stopped coming to school, she could stay home and protect her mother from her father.
Wow.
That next day, every Jessica was called down to the office. And I got pulled up to the side by the counselor, and the counselor was like, yo, so who's Jessica?
Nice.
And I'm like, I don't know. I was like, Miss Toledo said just finish the end of the story. And I was like, no, well, your writing just makes us feel that there is a real Jessica in the classroom. I was like, no, I was like, it was all made up. And then it was made up, but it was really about me. It was my story. I wanted to stay home. Because every time I didn't stay home and I came back home, my mother had another bruise.
Ooh.
Whether she burned herself on something, it was always a black and blue every time I came back home from school. And I was just like, nah, but I knew at that time, third grade, you can't tell your teachers that.
Right.
You get taken away. So I was like, nah, it's just a story.
Yeah,
so then the author of Bodega Dreams, Ernesto Quiñones, he worked at PS 145, my elementary school. He was my computer teacher.
Nice.
So in 6th grade, I didn't know Ernie was a writer at that time, but he was like, hey, you just keep doing what you're doing. Keep writing those stories. Someone is gonna, the fact that you made people believe that it was true means that you have a little gift that you need to just stick with. And I was like, all right, that was cute. All right, I guess I got something here.
Yeah.
But then I never I never wrote again until high school, and just little, jotting stuff down here and there, but nothing like, I didn't have my chest out. I'm a poet. That was never me. Like my whole thing was I could talk some shit. Like, oh, I could talk shit. But yeah, man, that's what.
But that's how you became a writer, right?
Yeah.
But when did you become the poet? By the way, that story, like, it reminds me of me. And yeah, I don't know if you know, but I also did I had a similar situation in 9th grade in my high school where Piri Tomas came. And he read my story and he was like, he goes, yes, that was great writing, and you keep writing because you're gonna do something with that. And I mean, I was a little thug then, so it took a minute for me to like let that sink in. But it's like a similar story, man. I like that. But when you that was your writing. Even when the Piri Tomas came to me, that was a story. That was a short story. What was it that made you become a poet though? Like,
So for me, it was the first open mic I went to. I don't even know how I got to the first open mic, but I went to this open mic, and no, it was the drug dealer homie who just kept saying, he just kept saying, yo, I do poetry. And I'm like, bro, stop it. Like, sell your crack, sell your weed. Just don't talk about poetry. Like, there's nothing there. So I went, and I had one poem that I've never touched or revisited. It was my peach poem. And I went, and I'm just like, okay. And I sat there on stage. I sat there in the audience, and I'm like, yo, everybody is horrible. This is what they doing? Like, yo, this is trash. Everybody, and I tell you, bro, everybody was up there. They were reading, they was like, and there was a lot of, Mickey Mouse, like, it was a lot of Mickey Mouse stuff, like the apple and grapple and see the dog, and the dog ran. And I was just like, oh, I was like, yeah. I said, I don't. So I felt like maybe my writing was bad because I didn't rhyme all the words. And I was just like, oh, I don't fit in. None of my poems rhyme.
Right.
I was like, nah, I can't fit in. And some of the stuff that I say is funny. Like, they probably think I'm a comedian instead of a poet, or that I do poetry. So it was that. It was listening to everybody else, and my ego got inflated because I was like, oh, I'm better than them.
The best.
I was like, yo, this is what they doing, and they getting all this stage time. I know I'm better than that.
I knew this was gonna be dope.
And then you step on stage and you realize, yo, now I understand why everybody got an earthquake.
Yeah.
It is not easy going up.
No, man.
And then no matter how dim the lights are, you like, oh, the temperature just got hot up in here. And I was just like, yo, this is, but that was it. It was just like, yo, this dude is trash. This girl is trash. She's trash. Rhyming to a point where I felt a little like, yo, I don't belong here. Like everybody's rhyming. None of my poems rhyme. I can't, to this day, it's hard for me to write a rhyming poem. You know,
did you
like,
ever rap?
I never rapped.
Have you ever thought about it?
No, all my homies did, and I always called them bum ass rappers, so I never rapped because
Son is dope.
Son is dope.
And
but even him, even when he had let me hear a few songs, I was like, yo, you trash. I'm like, do not rap ever again.
You stupid.
All the homies that I got who rap were good, I'd be like, yo, you are trash. That's what you write. That's what you're doing with your spare time? Writing that garbage? Yo, give it up.
You're the best.
Yeah, that's everybody.
But all right, you wear you wear a few hats, right? Like you're a poet and writer, host, a mentor, public advocate with like Latinos NYC, and educator. But I mean, and you get the baking talent is still suspect, but we don't know if that's really you or your wife yet. Nobody, there's no proof of that yet. But if it is you, you're pretty good. So, but which of those would you say most defines you?
My son just gave me the thumbs up. He says, "Good luck." Which one? I don't know, man.
I mean, definitely not. We don't have to say the baker because we don't. Like I said, that's not proven.
See, but see, the thing is with the baking is it is so many elements to that anything you don't do accurately, it all messes up.
Yo, you sound like I want to believe you, but I don't know, man. You said that. You said that like it's so real, man. Like I'm starting to like, yo, is he gassing me or what? Like,
that's what it is, bro.
And it's really, it's really you, right?
Yeah,
wow.
Man. I think one of the the educator really defines me because it's who I am. Like when I worked at EBC Bushwick Public Service in Brooklyn. I hate Brooklyn, by the way, just because midnight is here. And my brother Eric Crow Draven is here. Fuck Brooklyn. So for me, like being an educator encompasses all of that. It made me, because of basketball, I learned how to be a better leader. Right? Basketball helped me become a better leader on the court. And then it's a certain level of maturity and a certain level of respect that you have to have for yourself as a captain of a basketball team. So you have to carry yourself a certain way. And as an educator, it's the same thing. You have a captive audience. Anything you say, they believe. And even if you tell them, hey, I don't know, they believe that too. They believe, yo, you really don't know. So as an educator, there's so many things, there's so many ways that what you say and what you do can really set the tone for what these kids are going to be for the rest of their lives. Right? When I worked at EBC High School, I was an advisor to 46 boys. And they looked at me like, yo, like they would come to me with like real life situations. And I'm looking at them like, bro, I don't have all the answers for that. But I tell you what I do have. You know, and that that alone made me smarter, made me more selfless. Because it's like you think you have it bad or you think you have it rough until you hear stories of your Mexican or your student from Nicaragua and how they came to the country. You flew in, but you hear about, you know, one of your students who had to spoon with his sister and they peed on each other just to keep each other warm while they were trekking.
You got stories to write,
So
man.
it's like, it's like what I've been through is nothing compared to what they've been through, and they're younger than me. So for me, a lot of the times it was, the educator part really, that's really what it is. Being an educator and doing everything that I do, and even being an advocate. I'm gonna speak up for the people who can't speak up for themselves.
That's cool, man.
And
I see that part of you. And then when the book that you got coming out soon, when I read it, I got a lot of sides of you. I mean, that I suspected, because I always tell you, I know you got a big heart, but you really just let that all out in that book. But I do see that in you, man, and that's a side of you that I want to get my Barbara Walters tear jerks now, because you just said some serious stuff, man, and that just shows how big of a heart you do have, man. And I thought you were gonna say hosting, and you just came out with the no, I'm a great guy, man. But look, aside from your poetry, like, to me, I've always said this when we used to do those Smoking Word articles. I said you were the host of the year, but to me, you're the best host to ever do the damn thing. Like, you're quick wit, you unmatched, fearless stance, you ability to command the room. I remember the one time in the New York, you kicked somebody out. I forgot why, but you remember that, yeah. And then the insertion of your haikus, and you sneak in educational questions, that's all Chance Stilo originality, so how are you so comfortable in that role that it becomes you when you're there? Like, nobody really, like, they're hearing the side of you, but when you host and you're like, that's who he is, and either that's why I love him or that's why I hate him.
I used to tell people I have a 6.2 disappointment rate for every show. I'm about to piss off at least 6.2 of y'all every show. And that's why I always say, y'all, like, I made all my friends in high school. I don't care about your opinion. And it's funny because one young lady came up to me. She was like, I only come to the shows because you're hosting, and I want to hear what outrageous stuff is going to come out of your mouth.
Yes.
She's like, that's the only reason I come. She was like, yeah, the poetry is cool, but it's you. It's the two people that I kicked out was at a Martin Luther King event.
Yes.
It was a Martin Luther King event, and my brother, who is now the CEO of 100 Suits, was doing his poem, and these two people just got up and was like, NYPD KKK.
Yes.
And around, and I was just like, oh my goodness. I was like, there's over 100 people in here, and this show is gonna hit the shit if I don't do something quick. So I wait for it to die down. And then I got up and I was like, NYPD KK Loke. Because I knew all the Dominicans. So I was like, KK Loke.
Genius,
NYPD,
man.
NYPD, and then everybody in New York started doing NYPD, and then I had to shut it down. Like, look, I understand you have a stance. It's not the place for it. So I'm going to ask you to step outside. I'll give you your money back. It's not a problem, but you're not going to do that here. Not when we're trying to do this event or whatever. And then everybody was just like, then as they're walking out, NYPD, LOK, NYPD. And I don't know, man, it's, you know what it is? I've been around all the right people. I've been fortunate enough to watch Mahogany Brown host. I was fortunate enough to watch Jamie host. I was fortunate enough to watch Keith Roach. I was fortunate enough to rub elbows with, to me, the greatest who's done it, Nathan P. I was fortunate enough to watch comedians you know, Sinbad on Showtime at the Apollo. Who else? Who else was hosting at that time? Oh, Steve Harvey at Showtime at the Apollo. And I was just like, yo, like these dudes, it's okay to be funny and keep the show moving. But Nathan P. That's my guy. Like that's my mentor. That's my guy. Before anybody else, Nathan P was the one who, when we used to do a lot of shows together with Machismo Redefined, he was the one. I steal all of Nathan P's moves. All of his hosting style I stole. And he knows it. He was like, he goes, you ever wanna, he goes, what he said, you wanna know, you ever wanna know what I sound like in Espanol? Go see John Chance. That so was the greatest honor to me. He was like, but just be mindful. At home. He's straight, no chaser. But that was it. I knew, because his whole thing was like, this show is not about me.
Yeah.
You know, and I've seen a lot of bad hosts. Papo Swiggity after 6 beers. You after 2 Heinekens. Like I've seen it. I've seen the good and I've seen the bad, and then I've seen the ugly. Some hosts who think, "Oh, you did a poem? Okay, I got a poem too. That's just like yours. Let me do my." After every other person, it's just like, let me do a poem now. I got a poem. So Nathan P was the one who was just like, "Yo, you come on here. This is your house. They have to respect you. You set the standard. You set the tone. Whatever you do, they're gonna follow suit. So if you get crazy out here." And they get crazy, you ain't got nobody to blame but yourself.
You know, I'm shocked after hearing that, like that I mean, maybe you haven't, I don't know, but that you haven't done workshops on hosting. You are, like I said, to me, you're the best of the best. I know that you're looking up to Nathan. I don't see you guys the same, you know. I mean, I like him, but I mean, he's like, so coming up next, and you're just like, you just, it's two different people. But I get that you know, you learned what to do and what not to do from all the greats, right? But yeah, that would be a great workshop for all that you've learned, like you said, from the best and the worst, and you've seen what their mistakes and what their successes were. So that would be something you could look into. But now, speaking of that, so it's no secret from hosting, right? And because you're almost as famous, you could be brutally honest when hosting. I'll put it that way, right?
Oh, of course.
And you're almost as famous for trolling as you are for your senryus or haikus, and it's all love and realness to me. But I know some people take it hard. So, yeah. Is that, as I think, to push artists to be their best, or that's just you?
Oh, I thought you were talking about the audience members. Oh man. So, you know, again, this goes back to Nathan P and my brother Crow, who's with us now. Just touring with them and being in the same rooms with them while we're writing. They, you know, Crow doesn't know this, but
Crow is a great writer.
Yeah, I studied him. I studied him from his hip hop days, and you know, I had to be a certified stalker. I had to know who I was working with, what he did, what he didn't do, what he was great at, what he was lacking in, you know, and stuff like that. So for me, a lot of it for me was, well, so what's next? How do I do this? What do I do? How don't I just, I want to be good. Like, yo, in all honesty, I wanted to be the red man of this. Like, I didn't want to go platinum right away and then die out. I wanted to have longevity. I wanted to be relevant no matter what year, no matter what was going on in the world. I wanted people to be like, okay, I see what's going on here. You know, so for me, it was that. It was trying to figure that out. It was trying to figure out how do I do that? Now, you have to understand, my first year hosting, I did 6 shows a month. So when you do 6 shows a month, And in almost every show, you have 2 features, right? That's already 12 features a month, 144 features a year. So I know what people consider good because the people who I was hosting for, they had an ear to the streets. And then I also know through those 144 good features how you can lose me in the first 2 lines. And that was something I learned from Crow, something I learned from Nathan, something I've learned you do it often. Like you punch somebody in the face quick with the first 2 lines, and then now you're like, oh shit, I gotta hear what's next. Right? And you have other artists who, you know, and I tell them, I'm like, look, you've been in the audience. If I walk off to take a cigarette break and I don't smoke cigarettes, it's not you, it's me. And that's what it is. Like if you don't, I'm tough on them because I don't want them to be like, yo, I'm hot. I don't want people to think like they're good and they don't have to push themselves. Like you have a lot of people who don't even work on their craft. And you have people who just write BS and they think, oh, you know, that's good. You have people who, and for me, it's just, I don't know. For me, it's always been like that. I'm not easily impressed. I'm not easily impressed by what people write.
We know that. Yo, you're putting so you're putting out a new collection of poetry. I can say the title, right?
Yeah.
You got it's coming out, Sketches of My Rights. And now, like I said, like I think people don't see a side of you like that I've seen. I always thought you have a big heart, be it shielded in steel or not. But after reading your collection, I found a deeper, sensitive, and extremely caring part of you.
Yeah, man.
That I think a lot of people don't get to see. Would you say that your poetry in this particular book was therapeutic for you?
It was very different. It was definitely very different.
Yeah.
I've never, you know, it got to a point where I thought I always had to write to impress other people. Which was never my thing. I just wrote what I felt. I mean,
yeah, you opened up, man.
It was for a long time. People will always be like, "Oh, that's the teacher poet. He only writes poems about his students. He only writes poems about teaching. He only writes poems about kids. And I'm just like, you know what? You're right. You write what you know. Right? I think he said it best. I'm not gonna write about Mozart if I don't know Mozart. I gotta write about what I know. I know the streets. Right. I know. You know, I know selling drugs. I know popping off guns. That's what I'm gonna write about. As a hip hop artist, that's what I'm writing about. For me, it was just like, it was something about being a Latino and allowing kids to see you and understand that y'all speak the same language and understand that y'all been through the same thing. Like, look, I ain't there, but I'm someone you can look up to. I ain't make it, or you might think I've made it. So this is a model of what you have to look forward to. Same thing when I worked in the high school. You have a model of what you got to look forward to. So for this book, I tapped into my ancestors. I wanted to talk about my grandmother often. I wanted to talk about my grandfather often. I was just telling my wife, it just dawned on me that I don't have pictures of my maternal grandparents. I have one picture of my paternal grandparents. I have one picture of my grandmother, of my maternal grandmother. I don't know what my maternal grandfather looks like. I know his name, but I don't have any pictures of him. I asked my mother. My mother's like, you know what? That's interesting. I don't have any pictures. So for me, it was that kind of healing. It was just like, let's go back. Let's go back to why I am who I am. Let's go back to, you know, my mother leaving Colombia and coming to the United States when I was 1. Let's go back to the first place we did move to was Mount Vernon. Let's go back to the first place we did move to was the Bronx. Let's go back to that. Let's go back to learning that part. And then for me, it was just, let's do that. I want to write about that and write about what matters most to me, which, you know, at my tender young age is now family. It's like, you know, everybody, what legacy are you leaving behind? What's your legacy? What's this? What's that? You know, and leaving New York and coming to Florida was a big a big eye-opening experience because now it's like, okay, I'm here, and it's very different than New York. But what am I doing? You know, like my kids don't know. They don't know the difference between gunshots and firecrackers,
Jeez.
and I know.
I like that's a poem right there.
I can smell gunpowder, and I know the difference between gunpowder and a firecracker and gunpowder from a 38 laying off. Like, and you hear the difference.
You just said a poem, like the beginning of it, and that's beautiful, man. I hear you, man. I get you, and I totally feel the same way. Yeah.
And the same thing for me and my wife, 2 project kids. I've known my wife since I was 9. We have the bootleg Hallmark movie. I've known my wife since I was 9 years old. I used to stalk her in high school. She knows. I told her I stalked you in high school, girl. You thought I was on the 4th floor by mistake? Nope. I was up there on purpose by mistake. I knew you was coming down those steps. I had to come up. I used to be at her locker, like, I'm going to the bathroom. She's like, ain't no bathroom on the 4th floor. Oh, okay. I hear you. And that's what it was. You know? So for 2 project kids to leave New York, and we reconnected as adults. We reconnected on Facebook, as adults. And then it was just like, then we moved down here. Bro, like, we got our driver's license for the first time in our 30s. How New York is that?
Oh, yeah, that is. Yeah. Yeah. You
Like,
don't need it.
Everybody else here at 15, they got their junior license.
Yeah,
I mean,
14.
I've driven before illegally, but I've never had like
right.
like my license or whatever.
So was it hard to open up yourself to the world like you did in this book? Because and I'm glad. I mean, before you answer, I'm really glad that people are going to see this side of you and this writing of yours. This is so different to what they used to. I tell you sometimes when I see you, if you could do that poem, I'm not Puerto Rican. I love that shit. It's funny as hell, right? And that's the chance everybody knows. Like, he's gonna make you laugh. He's gonna like shoot somebody down, and then this book is just like
very different.
It's like Colombian Gandhi and some shit. It's just beautiful. Like, it jerks tears out. You feel pain. I feel like a lot of origin stories in you too in there. Like, it's just really cool. Though, was it hard for you to do that?
They've always been there. Those poems have always been like dying to come out. Yeah, I never found a reason for them to come. It wasn't until you know what? I think it was just recently reconnecting with my grandmother. And by reconnecting, meaning now in Colombia, I don't have to pay, $4 a minute to talk to her. Thanks to WhatsApp,
Yeah.
So my aunt added me to this WhatsApp. My aunt on my father's side, so me and my father don't have a relationship.
Right.
Let's start there. Me and my father don't have a relationship. The first time I met him, I was 16. I went to Colombia, visited my grandmother, my grandfather, 16 aunts, 4 uncles. That's just on my father's side. And one of my cousins was calling me, and I ran down the stairs, and I saw this man coming into my grandparents' house. I don't know anybody, so I can't be like, yo, what the hell you doing here? I bumped into him. I was like, oh, I'm sorry. And that was my dad. I didn't know. And my cousin was like, yo, you know who that was? I was like, mailman? Like, I really don't know. He was just like, no, that was your father. I was like, oh, okay. That's cool. And we just ran off to play ball, run the streets, and do whatever. So it was that reconnection. It was my grandfather passing away and my grandmother now holding it down for everybody. So when they all got WhatsApp, they put me on this WhatsApp chat group. Dude, I wake up every morning to 675 messages because the WhatsApp chat group has 100. The WhatsApp chat group has 143 family members, not strangers.
Yes.
This is This is my grandmother, 16 aunts, and 3 uncles who all have 3 to 4 grown children, right? So now their grown children now have their own 3 to 4 babies.
Right.
So I have like second cousins twice removed and everything who are in this on this app, and we all talk. I have a cousin who's going to the Olympics for synchronized swimming.
And you enjoyed all that. You
Yo,
enjoyed the WhatsApp.
this
I gotta
is
tell you,
this
Cat
is
got
making up for
yeah.
lost time. That
Oh, right.
I have
Cat,
another cousin who's a Daddy Yankee impersonator. I'm like, yo,
really?
how you impersonating Daddy Yankee with a Castellano Spanish? It's crazy.
I want to keep getting into your book though. So, because if that's okay with you.
Yeah.
In my faith, Iwa Pele is what came to mind, and that means good or moral character, right? And because it's not just your honest origin story, but works in defense of, to me, when I read it, works in defense of all that is right. You, it's not just about you, but it is you because it shows what you believe in defense of women, immigrants, children. I mean, you were quite the social activist in much of this collection, in my opinion. Do you feel it was important for people to know that side of you? Or were you just releasing it for you? I mean, like you said before, like it was stories that you already had and you needed to get out.
Nah, this like it's an asshole move, but this really wasn't for anybody.
No, it's not an asshole. That's good.
This was
why it should be about you.
Yeah, this was really about me. This is about me sharing, like it was just.
It makes it more real because
it was me being selfish. Like, yo,
yeah,
I'm at a point now where I want to talk about me. I want to talk about what I want to talk about. Like, let me talk about my grandmother. I miss my grandmother. I speak to her on WhatsApp, but that's not the same. I can't hug her. I don't know how much longer she'll be here.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I don't, I like the fact that anytime my biological father tries to say something about me, all his sisters dog him out. Like, they'd be like, bro, you had enough money to have your son fly over whenever he wanted to. Don't be a dick, you know? You had, your son, whatever, like, this young man pretty much his mother raised him on her own, and look what he's done. He's an educator. He's this, he's done that, he's done this. What have you done for him? Nothing. And it's funny because I have, my family be like, don't try to now be the hero and say, oh, but this and that. Yo, my family is not with the shits. Like, they quickly let him know, yo, you a piece of shit, and you've always been a piece of shit. Like, that's what it is. And
I feel so much of me and you. I see so much of me and you. Like, it's crazy. This hearing, I'm glad I got to hear a lot of this. I mean, I could get a lot of that from the book, but just hearing your stories outside of that, like what you explaining it's I'm being selfish right now. It's a lot of my story. Yeah. And I know from your book that you developed a quick wit, right? And one of the pieces in particular, I can't remember the name of it, but it was a quick wit to defend against anyone cracking on you.
Right? Oh yeah, it was Ricochet.
Yeah, but were you really bullied as a teenager?
Bro,
he's like, wait a minute, let me stop you right there.
Let me tell you, Ronald McDonald Afro.
Mm-hmm.
Had the the real Jackson 5 Afro. Yeah, that was me. I was a light-skinned Michael Jackson before Michael Jackson was light-skinned. I had the perfect Afro. I had the tight jeans. I wanted to moonwalk everywhere because that's what I saw on TV. Mm-hmm. My mother wouldn't let me jerry curl my hair because she didn't know what the fuck that was. She was like, "You're not doing that dumb shit. Just pick up this fro, wear these tight ass jeans, and tuck your polo shirt inside your." I was number one immigrant. I was the number one dun dada immigrant that you could see, bro. Like, if you put immigrant in the dictionary, you see a picture of me with my tight ass shirt, tight ass pants, the belt that's peeling off, and some ugly ass what was it? flavor sneakers. That's not even like Woolworth sneakers. That's how we were coming up. And that was me. And it was, English is not my first language. So I didn't learn English. No, I didn't learn English until I was like 7 or 8. So I had to defend myself. I'm in the classroom with a whole bunch of people who everyone spoke English and I didn't.
Yes.
So everything was just like, look, homeboy with the curly afro.
Yeah.
Even my wife when we was young. That's all she wanted to do. Pinch my cheeks because I have fat cheeks and play with my afro. And I'm trying to love on you. At 8 years old, I'm trying to love on her. She's like, oh, it's so cute, little Johnny. I'm like, I don't want to hear that. And then, and then high school, it was the same thing. She would embarrass me up and down the hallways. This is Johnny. This is, I know his mother. If any of you teachers have a problem, let me know. I'm like, yo, I'm not trying to hear that. I'm trying to put babies in you. Stop playing with me, woman. But she was a senior. I was a freshman. That's not gonna rock.
Yeah.
But yeah, when I was young, I was bullied. But I was like, okay,
you turned it around.
Yeah, we're not gonna do that.
Yes.
So let's do this. Yeah, y'all want to bully? Okay. So I'm gonna talk about your mom. And I'm gonna snap. And and we're gonna have jokes. And you either gonna cry or we're gonna fight.
Yes.
But we're gonna have a fair one.
I'm telling you, man. I felt that. I feel it. And I love you even more, especially after reading that. Like, I'm telling you, man, your story is a lot my story. And I think a lot of people are gonna read that feeling like that's me too. Like a lot of people are gonna like relate to everything that you put down in there. I can't wait to for people to read that. So you are in a position now where you can witness bullying or else even the reports of it. How does that affect you now? And like you're in an educational system and you mentor kids. So how does it, that's gotta be stress and a lot of weight on you.
So it's different, right? So when I worked in New York City, I worked with the special education department. Here in Florida, I work with children with autism. So it's still special education, but children with autism spectrum disorder, there's a spectrum. So I have a kid who's 6'4", 395, who's nonverbal. Right? So in our school in particular, you don't see bullying because they don't know what that is. They know what being rude is. They know what being inappropriate is, but they don't know how to be malicious to one each other to bully.
Right.
When I worked at the high school and elementary school in general ed, that's where I saw bullying.
Yeah.
So when I had my 46 boys as an advisor, oh, y'all talking shit about each other? Well, let's go. I'm jumping in.
Yeah.
If we're gonna do this,
did it bring you back? Did it bring you back? Like,
oh yeah,
yeah.
Because I'm like, y'all don't know what anybody is going through.
Yeah.
I'm like, I understand it's all fun and games. We're not gonna do mama jokes. We're not gonna do daddy jokes because none of y'all know who y'all really daddy is. And then they be like, yo, this dude is bugging out. I had to set it off. I'm like, none of y'all know who your father is. I'm your daddy from 7 to 3. So if y'all don't do daddy jokes, do them about me. But I wouldn't, it was funny because my first year with the boys, I wanted them to be brothers. Y'all ain't got to be born from the same place, but y'all brothers. Y'all need to take care of each other.
Right.
So I would do stuff to make them brothers because I knew they didn't have it. So Thanksgiving, we had to hold hands.
Nice.
We're not gonna pray, but we're gonna bless the food, right? Because I don't know what y'all believe in, but we're gonna say thank you for this food. And they be like, come on, blood. I really don't want to touch this dude. This dude be picking his nose, like every excuse, right? Avoidance. And I know it was avoidance. Until sophomore year. Then it became questionable behavior because I couldn't get them off each other.
Nice.
Yeah, they would come in the room, rub each other ear, like, bro, you good?
Nice.
They would like touch each other's head, touch each other in the chest, like, yo, you good? You all right? Give me a hug. I love you, bro. And I'll be like, yo, y'all a little suspect now. Nah, it's my brother. Yo, mister, this is my brother, mister. Whatever he need, I got him.
Nice. And you
So
created that, man. You sparked that.
It wasn't until one of the kids, because it was mostly Dominican. One of the kids, we were at a baseball game, and the pitcher went headhunting. That was the one time all the kids in the advisory showed up to the game. The kids from the baseball team, they knew don't run out on the field, it's not worth it. The kids in the stands were their advisory brothers was like, nah, fuck that.
Yeah.
That's not happening. They chased dude. we had to forfeit the game, and then I had to come back and explain to the principal, who was this white dude, and it was just like, yo, like you want them to be.
It's a beautiful but not so beautiful moment. Inside of you were proud. You were kind of proud in
I was
a
just
little
like,
bit.
yo, I'm like, I wouldn't change anything but the word. And then the principal was looking at me like, this is what you teaching them? I was like, absolutely.
Yes.
You want them to be there for each other.
Yeah.
Now, what if this was a different situation? What if one of them was being surrounded by two other dudes and you see their other brothers walking down the street? Wouldn't you want them to help them out? To a point where my because we were a school for public service. So my public service with my boys, we all going to Build-A-Bear.
Mm-hmm.
Come on, bro, for real? We're going to Build-A-Bear. Yo, este tipo está pasado. I'm like, yo, we're going to Build-A-Bear. Bring $10. We go, yo, mister, you can't get nothing from Build-A-Bear for $10. Like, bro, bring $10. We're going to Build-A-Bear. I will go with them. Me, 46 boys, one other adult, shut down Build-A-Bear from 10:30 to 12:30.
Wow.
We would go to Build-A-Bear, build beers for $10 because I knew the manager. He would give us all the clearance beers that were like $2.39 or whatever. Give us all the clear. I'm like, yo, just give us straight clearance. We don't care. $10 worth of stuff, and then we would take all that stuff and go to the Caring Cancer Center.
Look at you, man.
All my boys to the Caring Cancer Center, and because I knew one of the nurses over there, and I was like, look, we need to get to the children's unit. And they're like, what? I'm like, I got 46 boys. We all got beers. Take us to the kids.
Nice.
And she'd be like, hold on. Give me 20 minutes. She's like, yo, I got you. We go straight in. I tell the kids, pick a room, make a relationship. You don't come out until you have 7 facts of each child. Nice. I don't care about their sickness. I need 7 facts. 12:30 to 1:30 because we had to go back to school. It's 2:00. They're like, yo, mister, it's cool if I'm late, bro. It's cool. Don't worry about it. I'm like, nah, y'all don't understand. I don't want to get fired. So we have to get back on this train because we got to head back to Brooklyn. And that's what it was. I would go to the care. And that was our legacy that we left at the school. So every year, a new advisory now wanted to go to Build-A-Bear and then go to a hospital to drop off teddy bear.
Now, how many people have seen that and taken that and nobody knows that came from you?
I don't know, man.
Can you imagine?
Yeah.
If you were not in education or a poet, what would be your dream job?
If I was not in, I don't know. I'm pretty good at basketball. It would be sports medicine.
I want to believe you so bad. Like,
check the stats, man. Check the stats. Watch the videotape.
A New Yorker in Florida. So we're gonna clear it that you were not running from the law because like you are out there. Everybody knows you. So how was that transition and how was the arts and poetry scene down there?
Okay, so the transition was abrupt. My wife is the middle of 5, and for a while she was just like. She was like, I want to move. But you know how women are. They change their mind 13 times. First, they want to wear a blouse, then they want to wear a tank top, then they want to wear a shirt, then they change 4 more times. And you're like, yo, bro, what are you doing? So
that's the chance everybody knows now.
Yeah. So she was just like, yo, I want to move. And I'm like, all right, I hear you. Then it was like, yo, I want to move. And I'm like, yeah, okay. I want to move. Ha. I want to move. And then one thing led to another. She was like, no. So she was like, I really just, I want to pack up and move. I'm tired of being here. So I'm like, all right, bro, where do you want to go? I said, pick anywhere. I said, I know 2 people in every state. Just pick a state and we'll figure it out. And I was like, well, go to North Carolina. You got family there. And she was like, nah, I don't really get along with that family. Let's not. I'm like, all right. I was like, you want cold? You don't want cold. She was like, I want cold. She was like, but I don't want to wear socks. I'm like, all right, you don't want to wear socks. I guess we're moving to Florida. I said, my sister's down there. I said, we can move to Georgia, but it gets cold in Georgia and it snows. 1 inch of snow, Georgia shut down.
Yeah.
She was like, all right. She was like, well, let's go to Florida. So I'm like, all right, whatever. We'll go to Florida. Call my sister. Hey, we coming down on vacation. She was like, all right, cool. And we on straight vacation mode, chilling. My wife wakes up. I don't want to go back. I'm like, bro, vacation and living is totally different. It is not the same. So again, because she changes her mind off now, I was like, yeah, whatever. Let's wake up tomorrow. You'll have another story. And because we have 2 months off as educators,
Right.
we not hustling, we not struggling. We are, all right, just checks keep coming in, we good. Then she was like, babe, for real, like I don't want to go back.
Yeah.
I said, are you sure? Because once I make this phone call, we stuck. She was like, I don't want to go back. I called her mother. Hey, we're not coming back. She's like, what? I said, we're not coming back. She don't want to come back. I told my sister, give me a year. We'll figure it out. We'll move out. Told my brother-in-law, help me find a car. He was like, I got you. Don't worry about it. Because he's a banker. So he knows a whole bunch of, dealerships or whatever. Then we came and we still kicking it. Oh, yeah, we finally moving. And then my sister wakes up one morning. She's like, yo, you got to put these little motherfuckers in school. Like school starts soon.
Yeah.
And we're like,
and that
what?
was it. That's the concrete right there.
She was like, school
That's
starts in
real.
August, not September. I don't know what the hell y'all thinking. She was like, but school starts soon. So we quickly put the kids in school. My wife, in a week and a half, found a job, but I was stubborn. I went to interview after interview, and these people were looking at me like, bro, you got braids, you got tattoos, you fresh out, you fresh out clean. What are you talking about? And I was going into the teaching field, and everywhere I went, I'm showing them, my value, and they were cutting my value in half. I'm like, yo, I'm making 45,000 in New York. They're throwing at me 26.
Damn.
Oh, the living here is different. I'm like, no, it's not. I got to get 2 cars. I got to find a place to live. Cost of living is, but the cost of living technically was cheaper for us because we were making New York money because we still had checks coming in from New York. But it's all the same, bro. The same way you get paid here is the same way you spend. You don't make much, so you don't spend much. In New York, you make bank, so you spend bank.
Yeah.
Which is very different.
You don't remember, you gave me advice some many years ago. You said, when you get a raise, act like you didn't get a raise. Put that money on the side. And I've been doing that.
Yep.
Yeah, you said, like, act like it's not there. Like
you already used to not living with it.
Keep living on the money that you started with.
Exactly.
And I love that advice. Your wife is cool. We bought a cake from you. And when we went to your crib to pick it up, and it was crazy funny because she was the sweetest person ever, and you were you. And it was just like how are they together?
Yeah. When did that happen? Yeah. Man.
So how has being an educator changed you?
She's a goon. Being an educator, how has it changed? So the funny thing is, I've always done, when I was 14, I worked in the after school program. I was a junior counselor at 14 for a summer after school program. At 15, I still worked at the after school program. I was a janitor at the after school program. Then I've always did after school programs and stuff like that. And then I worked for a graphic design firm during 9/11. I worked for a graphic design firm in high school, doing stuff for Bad Boy and Arista and Universal and all these labels. But it was cool because I was meeting a lot of celebrities, a lot of musicians, a lot of artists, and I knew my way around. But being an educator changed me because it was instant gratification. Yes, 1+1 is 2. You got it. Now let's try this one. And it was the instant gratification that you got. You don't go into education thinking you're gonna be a baller. You don't go into education thinking, yo, I'm gonna make millions this year. You don't. You don't go into education with the mindset that you're gonna make money. You go into education with the mindset like, yo, I'm about to change somebody's life. And again, for me, it was making a lot of kids realize there's people that look like you who are doing something positive. We will
I
always
kind
trade in the negative light.
I kind of want you to die tragically, so there could be a movie about you. Because I'm hearing this and I'm like, man, I wish the world could like there gotta be a movie about this guy, but you have to die tragically, though. It has
Right?
to happen.
So
What are
yeah,
you?
so that's one of the things. It changed me like that, man, because I was I was reckless in these streets. I was wild
Mm,
reckless. Growing up in the hood, it wasn't more so trying to fit in. It was blinded loyalty. Right? Like every hood kid, you ain't got a dad.
mhm,
The boys you grew up with would die for you.
mhm.
So whatever your boys need, you did. What? You want
Yeah,
me to throw
yeah,
an
yeah.
M80 and an MPV because these dudes mess with your sister? They ain't gonna think it's
Got
me.
you.
I'm, I'm the white boy from the crew. Who they gonna think a white boy walking with a whole bunch of black dudes is gonna have the gonads to throw a bomb, an M80 in someone's car? I was that dude.
Yeah.
What? You need me to slash 3 people tires? Not a problem. Where they at? But and I'm so friendly. Oxymoron in that. I'm so friendly. I made friends everywhere.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
got a homegirl in the DMV. All I had to do is give her somebody's first and last name in the description. She gave me the address. I
We're
was that, I was that guy.
we're a different breed, and that's why when I say people don't understand when I say like earlier on, I said to you that I thought always thought you were a hip hop poet. People misunderstand that. They think hip hop is rap. They don't understand it's a culture. It's a culture of
Yeah,
people that grew up like us, And I always saw that in you, and that's what attracted me to you. And I was always like, I tell you, I still remember like there was times when we and you never even spoke, when we saw each other. And I always like that's a hood thing, right? Like,
yeah,
I didn't
yeah,
see you, but somehow you would give me a pound. You didn't even really know me. I didn't know you, but you would just give me a pound. That was like that's how I grew up,
yeah,
when like-minded people, when you from that environment, you just know that you can smell them,
yeah.
you know. And and,
He's one
and,
of
and, and I
us.
always felt, yeah, I always felt like you were one of us, That's how I felt with you.
Yeah.
Um, I I could talk to you forever, man. What are you most proud of?
Oh, that's tough. Um, I gotta say, one of the things I'm most proud of are my children,
See that there?
if nothing else. Yeah, man. Like, you know what? It was one of those things because everybody has this cookie cutter idea of when they're supposed to have their first child, be married, and it's funny because I think about it, right? I've overcome every statistic placed against me. I watched my mother get beat.
Yes.
I watched my mother get her jaw broken, her mouth wired, arm broken, thrown downstairs. I've seen all of that. So statistically, I'm supposed to beat on my wife.
Mm-hmm.
I put my hands on my wife, but not like that, you know? And that alone, right? So you're supposed to have your first child at 22, have your career, have your goals, this, that. At my first child, How old is my daughter? 9. I had my first child at like 43. I mean 30, 36. You're supposed to be done with children at 36,
Broke the mold, man.
according to society, right?
Yeah.
Raising 2 beautiful children. I'm helping my wife raise her beautiful teenager. I have my daughter with True Versailles, who I'm helping raise her. I haven't seen her in forever because she's now in Brooklyn College. She's a college student, but I've raised Versailles since she was 2 months.
Mm-hmm.
I help my wife, talk to her son. He's 21 years old. That's a grown ass man. We supposed to be done with kids once,
Right.
but I think that's and then all the babies I've raised, all the babies that everybody, all of my friends' kids who come around me and be like, "Yo, Unc, let me talk to you."
Yeah.
My nephews, every time I go over to my nephew's house, Theo, I punch him in the face, I slap him around, like, and they love it. I'm the biggest kid. My sister be like, "Yo, can you come get your niece?" I'm like, "Why?" Because she's driving me crazy. I'm like, "Because you not fun, you boring." She be like, "Yo, come get her." She be calling, she be texting me, "Yo, when can I come to your house? I like your house." Even that is an accomplishment, bro. Like in New York, I wouldn't be able to buy a house, 2 cars, and a dog.
Nah, yeah.
Like American dream. I got a dog that doesn't bark. Sometimes I think she's mute, but she's cool as fuck.
You stupid.
My wife, my wife and I, we bought a house. 2 kids from the projects buying a house. That's an accomplishment within itself.
Yeah.
And we got 2 cars, his and hers.
Absolutely.
We look at each other, and every time we think about it, a lot of people back home was like, "Yo, y'all not gonna make it past 6 months. Yo, y'all be back in 6 months. Y'all be back in a year."
Yeah.
We've been here 6 years.
Yeah.
And it's funny because in those 6 years, I've seen a lot.
Yeah.
I've seen like who the real friends are. I've seen, because I've learned out of sight, out of mind.
We were sad. It was at a Brownstone event where you told me and my wife.
Oh, yeah.
And you said, I haven't really told anybody yet. And we were fucked up that day. Like we were like, damn, we like really just clicking. Like it was sad for us, but I'm happy to see everything that you accomplished. And I feel the same way with me. Like people always say, like, when you got to come back, we miss you. And I'm like, but you got to do things, as bad as it sounds, like you said before, selfishly, but
Yeah.
you got to take care of yourself. You got to do what's right for you and your family.
Yep.
And you are an example of success, man. And it depends what you feel is making it. People don't know. They think if you think making it is something that's extravagant and super rich and fuck everybody, I'm this big mogul or whatever. That's not reality. And to me, making it is being happy with the life you have, like extremely happy, and being able to say I'm blessed. What you just said, a kid from the projects, which is me too. That's why I could relate so much to you. I came from the South Bronx, and then I was in the Upper West Side, and we had I've never gone on vacation until I was an adult. I never left the projects, right? Never, man, never. My wife talks about going to Disney when she was a kid. I was like, man, I don't know what that's like.
You got money.
Yeah, but then you make it. Like we're really proud of everything we have now. We went from like temp jobs to, like, I was making minimum wage as a messenger in New York, and then and now I left New York making like a boatload of money, and I was unhappy. Then I came here and made half of that, and I was extremely happy. like it was crazy. Like, you got to do what feeds your mind and your soul and your heart and be happy. And I feel that you did that. I'm really happy for you. So I guess one last question for you before we go to the no cap fun stuff.
Hold on. So you asked, what's the poetry scene here like?
Oh, my bad. I was like, don't answer that. Fuck it. Nah, go ahead.
I did I've only done 2 events.
Wait, before you continue, when you finish with doing it, when you finish saying that, also tell me about the dumping grounds, and then but go ahead.
Okay. So I did I reached out to the homie Deborah Magdalena. Yo, talk to me. What's good? Like what's good with poetry out here? And she was straight up. She was like, there's no culture here.
Mm,
She says the way you guys do it in New York, where there's the New Yo on Wednesdays, the New Yo on Fridays, this spot on this day, this spot on that day. She was like, we don't have that here. That's died down. And I'm like, nah, you gotta be kidding me. And what happens is that here it's very, it depends, like New York, it depends what dojo you're from.
mm-hmm.
So you from the Bowery, you stay with Bowery people. From the New Yo, you stay with New Yo people. At that time, if you from Bar 13, you stay with Bar 13 people. So when I did one event, I learned that only people that dealt with this dude go to his events.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm like, yo, where else do you go? They was like, we don't go anywhere else. I'm like, there's no other open mics here. There's other open mics up north, but we don't go there. And that's the other thing. Floridians are very lazy. If you're in a car for 35 minutes, I kid you not, anything 35 minutes or more, they not going. Nah, bro, that's far. And I'm like, bro, I've been on a train for an hour and a half just to get to work. What is 35 minutes? So I learned that. And then, with the price of gas being so high, nobody want to drive it.
Yeah.
But then I learned how to network and be associated with the right people.
Right.
I was associated with Deborah Magdalena. She introduced me to all the big names, all the big names in the poetry scene that she knew. And when I got in touch with them, that's how I was able to get in touch with the Piano Slam at the Adrian Arts Center, which is equivalent to the Lincoln Center here in Florida. And I was able to do stuff with them. So the poetry scene is, for me, I really haven't seen much of a poetry scene. I know all the main players, so that anytime I need to jump on the stage, I call one of the homies up, yo,
right.
Where you at? And he'll tell me.
Like you feel like you're gonna want to grow something there?
I wouldn't because I'm at a different space.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know everybody. I don't know everybody here. I don't know anybody here. My reason
you're building in a different part of your life now. I get it.
And then
totally.
It would be taking people from different dojos to make one dojo who may not get along. And I don't know the politics here.
Yeah.
I don't know the adjective beefs going on.
Elizabeth Velasquez, she said, you guys should do Smoking Word in Chicago. It will be, it's missed here, and it would be nice there. And I'm like, but I'm on a different path right now. I want to promote people individually and give them a shot, like I'm doing right now. I want people to get to know individually this person and give them more than just 10 minutes to really know who this person is. And that's where I'm at right now. I get totally where you're at, man, my brother. I'm totally with you on that.
Yeah, so yeah, it's different. So that's why I do, I guess suckered in by people from Brooklyn named Midnight do open mics with them and host open mics.
I mean, but that's cool. You enjoy that.
Yeah, I do, because I talk shit about Brooklyn all the time on that show. And then I do stuff, with Amalia in the dumping grounds with Rosalind also here. So the dumping grounds was just, it's not just, it's an open mic where we talk about mental health. And people are allowed to come and do poems that they won't normally do at other spaces, because sometimes they may feel that those spaces don't warrant that type of energy. Or that they may be looked upon differently for doing those kind of poems. Poems about mental health, poems about depression, anxiety, poems about postpartum, poems about suicide, poems about death. Whatever the poem is, that's what the dumping grounds initially is all about.
I was proud of you for that, man. I'm gonna tell you, so for somebody I have anxiety, I have ADHD. It took a while for me to tell the world all that,
Oh yeah.
And so, like, if I had a spot, if you guys did this 10 years ago, I'd probably be a little more sane. But like,
And that's the thing.
really appreciate what y'all doing with that.
Amalia did it because she felt there's poems she wanted to do that she can't do every.
Right, right.
Like she's like, oh, I don't want to do this poem here and then bring the whole mood down. And then
Yeah.
it was like, I don't want to go to the New Yo open mic and do the poem because it seems like everybody there is in competition to see who's doing the next best poem. You know, and for me, I was just like, well, what do you want to do? She was like, I want to do something virtual. I'm like, then do it. She was like, but who will show up?
Absolutely.
I'm like, you don't know until you do it. No, same thing with Midnight. Midnight's event, put it in the chat, started as a birthday thing.
Mhm.
I'm just doing this open mic on my birthday for me and some of the homies. And
Put it
then
in the
that
chat.
turned into now 2 years of put it in the chat and me
Nice.
talking
And
about
how
Brooklyn.
does that? When does that occur?
I don't know. And because
Yo,
his
you
mic
the
was
best, man. You.
is a second and fourth Wednesday
Yo.
of every month.
He said,
Second and
I
fourth
don't
Wednesday.
know, man. When they call me,
Whatever he calls me that Monday,
when they
be like,
call
yo,
me,
put this
I'm
flyer
there.
when he calls me on Monday, be like, yo, can we have a flyer for this month? I'm like, yeah, I guess we could. So yeah,
So,
so that put it in the chat started with Midnight and Stephanie.
and I
Stephanie
haven't peeped it yet. You gotta invite
Yeah.
me so I could peep it, man. Yo, so
Stephanie and Midnight started putting in the chat. Amalia started the dumping grounds, and you know, and that's a show we do the second Saturday of every month, and
yeah.
it's cool. We've had so many different people come in
And I appreciate the Saturdays, my dude, because I'm gonna tell you, people get mad at me because I don't go to a lot of week shit. Like I'm like, dude, like life right now is not week for me.
yo,
Like
after
weekdays
40,
is just
everything changes.
yeah.
You don't know.
So the last part before you do whatever you want to do is you've seen this, so it's a no cap 10 pack. It might sound ridiculous, but it's just you choosing really quickly between two choices of what you would prefer. And if you can pass, you don't have to answer like if you feel uncomfortable, but I want you to know that if you don't answer, an angel takes a shot of tequila. So that means you corrupt an angel somewhere.
Okay.
All right. So no cap 10 pack.
Put
Number
it on
one.
my tab.
Number one. Advocate of words or letterman?
Neither. Both. But advocate of words. Advocate of words. I love that.
Awesome. Cheesecake or flan?
Flan cheesecake.
Whoa, I've never heard of that. Stop playing.
Yeah. Come on, man. I bake.
Oh, that's right. We suspect, but yeah. We'll. I hope that's true because that sounds amazing. Billy Tuggle or Kevin Coble?
Ooh, I'm gonna have to go with Billy. I love Kevin Koval, but I have to go with Billy.
Yeah, me too. Stand and Deliver or Lean on Me?
Which one has more Mexicans?
Stand and Deliver.
Stand and Deliver.
New York or Florida?
Always New York.
Oh, nice. Quiet nights or bar fights?
At my age, quiet nights.
Dogs or cats?
Lila.
The doggy. But she don't speak. So. Scarface or The Godfather?
Scarface.
Godfather 1. Let me make that clear.
Oh, if we're going like that, I'm gonna have to go.
You know what? Godfather 1 and 2 are kind of a package deal. So
I'm gonna go with 1 and 2.
Me too. Pasteles or empanadas?
Oh, I'm Colombian. I have to go empanadas. My wife ain't here, so she can't hear me.
Bachata or cumbia? Of course.
Ooh.
Really? This is hard for you?
It's hard because they're one and the same.
Really? You feel that way?
Bro. So if you hear the words from a bachata and a cumbia, is both romantic ballads. They're both almost the same.
Kind of, but you can move your hips more to cumbia.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. But you know.
But you got to pick one. You got to pick one.
Okay,
or an angel takes a shot.
I'm gonna go with cumbia.
Yeah, me too. I'm gonna go with that too. All right, that's it, man. Now it's on you, man. If you want to do, I mean, hopefully you do want to do a few pieces. That'll be awesome.
Okay.
If you want to throw in there, I'm not Puerto Rican for me, that would be awesome too. But you don't have to, it's just how much you love me or not. I don't know, whatever you want to do, man.
There's a certain
Offer me your book, your beautiful book, man. That's that book is amazing. You can hit that off too.
Thank you. Let's see. I'll go with this. This is these aren't in the book. I told her she was beautiful before knowing what the word meant. I was rude. I would stare when I knew not to. Her skin, café con leche. Good girls like bad guys, and young boys like older women. She was 4 years my senior. That's tons of experience to look forward to for a 9-year-old. But she was a bad girl in the making. She attended Catholic school. We met when purity was common, when Saturday basketball programs were common, project kids with enough money to propose with a ring pop, Heavy D with hip hop, and I had nothing but love for her. It wasn't that I was wrong, it was just that I was early. I didn't know we would be reunited. Man, did it feel so good. She left the hood, but never the space nestled in my arteries. She was the butterflies in my stomach. It was just hard to see her, that I made myself visible. Some may call it stalking. Okay, I was stalking. I made sure I was always in her line of vision so she can see her future before her. But she was a senior and I was a freshman, curly afro that could be seen from afar. I had better chances of doing calculus than having her in my arms. So with courage and fear and a little bit of corny, I told her the best part of my day was to see her smile. I knew I was wrong, but I just wanted to be flirty. It wasn't until she experienced life 20 years removed from each other's presence that I was gifted with her message. I don't know if you remember me. Certain things in life don't escape me. I remember her exclamation perfume when we hugged, period two. Later, inhaled the memory of her in my living room. I married the girl I've known since 9, just in time. I knew it wasn't that I was wrong. It was just that I was too early. So this came from a writing prompt from one of the homies. This is not about skeletons piling in the room you hang your clothes in. I don't care what closet you walk out of. I will gladly hold the door open for you. We can walk this runway or foyer as you decide. I can care less what rainbow flag you want to wave in your room. It doesn't change who you are. Panda, bi, transparency is all I ask of you. I cannot protect you from the secrets. I can protect you from them who don't know how to keep their hands to themselves. For you, my hands will be non-binary and transitional. Speak to me. I have given you that trust. I will always ask you to walk in front of me. I love seeing what God and loving parents created. Will never ask you to keep skeletons. Halloween and science labs is all they are good for, dear child. I will never ask you to be normal when you are divine. I found your glitter way before you found puberty. It wasn't you trying your mother's shoes, boy, or you playing with your dad's G.I. Joe girl. You were made this way because you are perfect. I don't care what closet you walk out of. I will gladly hold the door open for you. I only care about what time you get home. Life and death happen at the kitchen table. I stood there confused by what she decided to wear to dinner. I always loved plush toys, but her teddy was a little naughty. It seemed like it was missing some pieces, heavy on the see-through, shy on the fabric. I was a little overdressed for this occasion, so I took my belt off. My shirt draped over the dining room chair like a James Brown resurrection. I'm finna get on a good foot. She smelled like dessert, coconut and honeydew. I glanced over to the stove, not a flame in sight. Knew she had an interesting palate, but there was no Nyotamori on sight. Stomach echoing of 1,000 fights. She politely shoves a strawberry in my mouth. I rejected the offer. It wasn't dipped in her honey or crossed a bit south of her heart. Easily distracted, I wondered if waist beads taste like Fruit Loops. I never wanted cereal so bad. She whispered dessert before dinner. I told her I was still hungry, sat her before me at the kitchen table. Shoulders held the back of her knees perfectly, purposefully. We can create life, but first, let's attempt several little deaths at the kitchen table.
This motherfucker, dude. They don't know.
Yeah, man.
Oh, you good? You gotta let me know when you're done. And
I gotta let you know when I'm done.
yo, you let me know. It's on you. I'm not. I will never interrupt the legend, ever.
Let's see. Where do we go from here? Let's go here. Let's go here. Let's go.
Midnight's funny, by the way.
Well, you know, he's from Brooklyn and he ain't got nothing else to do. So you know how these Brooklyn dudes do.
Brooklyn.
He's always in the house because they you know, they don't like being home. That's my thing.
Brooklyn.
There's I don't know, man. There's just so much going on, and let me find this one piece I want to do for the people. There's been a shift. There's been a shift in how I approach things and my writing and
Obviously.
yeah, man. It's been a blessing too because for a long time, and again, it's about who you write with too. You know, like when you start being around certain people and listening to certain things, you just start thinking like, yo, there's a lot going on here. And you just start feeling your writing just becomes a little bit different every time. And for me, it's like I'm an impulsive writer, not a, you know, like bum ass advocate of words who's always like, I sit down every day for 2.5 hours and just write whatever I want to write. I'm like, fuck.
You're a fool.
I'm like, bro, stop. Like,
Can I say something though?
go ahead.
This is John. This is a first in history. John Chance Acevedo doing an intro. You did. That's an intro, motherfucker. You did it.
Intro, it's just,
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it is. No, this is it. You did an intro.
That's what I'm doing.
And hey, I bring shit out of people. You did an intro, my dude, but go ahead, continue.
But yeah, it's just like that's words. Words is always like, and I'm not that person. I'm not the I'm gonna write, you know, I'm gonna sit every day and write 14 poems and whatever. And I'm like, bro, you're not. Like, stop it. And you know, I don't know, man. He's a funny character. He's a funny dude, and I love my people. I love him. I love him. And it's interesting because since I left New York, you don't see too many people, you know, like I one of the things I miss about New York is a sense of family. Like, you can always, you know, anytime there was a spot to go to, you already knew who you had to look to, you know? I don't have that here. And that's one of the things for me that's been a little bit difficult. Like when I said out of sight, out of mind, that's really what it was for a long time. I speak to more of the new dirtbags that I've made than than even people that I've been around for a long time. You know? The bell rings, it's spring break. No, wait. It's 8 a.m., first period, homeroom. 45 young men stare at me for direction. It's decision day for most. Today, they decide 5 colleges, signed, sealed, and delivered. Today, these young Black and brown men will make the rest of their lives a little bit easier. Most will be disappointed that they can only select 5. One thing is for certain, for all these first generation immigrants, college was never an option. Their father's bodega, mother's hair salon, and corner seemed more realistic. Their essays are written, they are writing themselves into their future. They would have never thought about scholarships, about how giving back would benefit them today. 22 of these young men that have been told no to private schools have the confidence of being accepted today. 12 boys with arrests on their records have to admit to a crime in the form of a personal essay on why college is important. They don't hesitate to share their crimes, their struggles. Today, 11 of those 45 boys will sit in a circle. I will give them their college mail, their families by their side, one by one. They'll open their letters. The outcome is not what matters. The support of their brothers, the circle of friendship, the bond that they now have. These young men who have been together these 3 years embrace each other with tears in their eyes, happy to start a new chapter in their lives.
All right. Are you good? It's on you. It's on you, man.
Let me do my Mama Soul story and I'm good.
Ooh, are you gonna cry?
No.
Promise?
I promise. December 1991 in New York City, companies are having their Christmas party a week early. Women are shopping for their children's gifts, dubbing as Santa Claus. Margaret loved to party as long as her children were home safe. She never passed up an opportunity to be her best friend's house. Lisa always had the best parties, hustlers playing blackjack for dollars. Mama Soul, because nobody can pronounce her birth name, looked like she robbed 2 strippers. Dollars stacked in hundreds, she's always yells out, "Money train!" loud enough to keep her teeth in, and for los ladrones and lambones not to come ask her for no money. Rule number 1, never ask anyone who's in the process of actively gambling borrow a dollar. It can lead to a bodily harm. Mama Soul welcomed everybody's money to the table. Margaret came in, made sure she made her way to say hello to Mama Soul. Bendición, mama. Que Dios te bendiga y te cuide, linda. Followed by, you got money? Come get this ass whooping and support my new teeth fund. No, mama. Seems like you got enough for all the gold teeth you want. Mama never kicked anyone out the house, but usually strongly suggested folks to make their way out. What cab company you use? After only being there 4 hours, Margaret was escorted to her cab, breath smelling like many of yesterday's hangovers. Her 13-year-old son, in a panic, was worried about what had happened to his mother after she had not arrived home 2 hours after being told she was on her way. Being the man of the house didn't prepare him for lonely sleepovers. He called his favorite teacher. They called police. She's not missing. It's only 2 hours. She called neighbors. Emergency room. Emergency room housed a Jane Doe. 5'2" Hispanic female, 30 to 40 years old. His teenage heart experienced a mix of broken heart and relief. His siblings were kept from scary bandage that wrapped their mother's face like a mummy. Her belongings had everything but her jewelry. Mama Soul called to find out how mommy had been doing. Neighbors were on the lookout for jewelry. Crackheads in these neighborhoods have short-term memory. We all knew Hollywood would know if her jewelry had been circulated. Mention Tarfoot. As a thing for women in jewelry, Mama Soul had a thing for men who mistreated women and grandbabies that like to relocate individuals. See, Margaret got her jewelry. Her sons got their mom. Mama Soul still hustles for dollars. Tarfoot was never seen again. Thank you. Thank you.
You're the best.
I appreciate you.
Yo, awesome. This was another side to you people didn't see, man. And hey, I'm gonna take credit for it.
I appreciate it. You know what? So I told my publisher that when they send me the final, not to send me the forward. I have yet, yeah, I have yet to read the forward. I don't want to read it until I have the actual hard copy.
And say what the
Yeah, man. I appreciate you, brother. I really
I
do.
appreciate you, man. You awesome. Bro, let me know where people can find you, man. I mean, obviously on Facebook and on other people's Facebook trolling. But like,
Yeah, man. I'm
what's
on,
next? What's next? Besides, I know you got the dumping ground. It's gonna happen when they call you, and
Yeah,
then you
so
guys
I
put
do,
it in the chat when they call you.
put it in the chat Wednesday, this coming Wednesday, and the dumping grounds November 12th. So for put it in the chat, you can follow me on Facebook, John Chance Acevedo, or on Instagram, Eva J's Sweets, where you can see some of my wife's baking skills. And yeah, so that's put in the chat. And the dumping grounds, you can follow me, Roslyn, Big Roz, the big homie through her big brown eyes, or you can follow Emalia. She is the curator of that event. What's next for me? Sadly enough, I'm heading to a wake and a funeral. We just lost one of
Why
our
you bringing
students.
everybody down?
Because I mean, you know, it's all funny. It's all funny until shit get real. So we just lost one of our students. We're doing a
Man.
big, yeah, we're doing a big memorial for him. And in good chance fashion, is gonna be a roast. Because the family doesn't want to cry, they just want to laugh.
Yeah,
So,
nice. I like that.
I'm gonna roast the dead. He was, you know, he was one of my students, and it's gonna be hard for me because I was the one who had his back at all times.
Yeah.
But you know, we lost him in his sleep, so he went peacefully. He suffered from epilepsy, so he had seizures. And when his when they found him, he was blue. So I gathered all the pictures that I have. I'm working on my jokes, trying to bring a smile to the family's face. And we're just going, you know, it's crazy, right? We're gonna have fun at a wake.
Yeah, absolutely.
Great life.
Well, you know, that's all my weeks are like that.
Yeah.
With my faith. But I appreciate you, man. I like this side of you, man. I was so happy to know this side of you, even though I speculated it, you know, because your heart was always big to me. But I'm glad that everybody got to see that. And so you this is a personal thing. It's not like you can go to it, but I love to hear that you're doing something like that, and you're able to do that, because I know it's probably hard for you to do that.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, but it's a blessing to have you in this world, in this community, man. We love you, man. And if they don't love you, man, you're still doing you're doing something right. Because they either love you or hate you. So that's a good thing. So you
take a number.
Yeah.
Take a number.
Got the stomping ground. You got put in the chat that I have not been invited to for whatever fucking reason that was.
Because it's during the week.
right. But I gotta be there for you, man. You're there for me, so I gotta be there for you. So I am gonna get there for you. Anything else you want to say before we wrap this up?
Yeah, the next thing that I'm doing also, hopefully this year, next year, I do the piano slam. So the piano slam is a slam with middle school and high school students. So it's middle school and high school students, and I get to mentor 4 of them.
Mm,
The winner of the piano slam wins like $1,000 and
wow.
a laptop. So I've been fortunate enough to do it 2 years in a row, and both years my kids have won first prize in ELA
Nice.
and STEM, which is pretty cool.
It's cool.
Considering,
It's like you're really good and you're really corrupt,
yeah,
depending on
man.
what the deal is.
I'm,
Like,
I'm here. I'm getting my yoga on. Yeah, getting my baby yoga on and letting them know, like, yo, stick with me. I kind of know what I'm talking about, which is pretty cool. So I'll be doing that. And final words. I don't know, man. Like, it, just don't wear tank tops to poetry shows. You suck if you do. Like, I don't.
he said,
No,
I gotta be me for a minute.
no, do things for yourself. Don't do things for anybody's happiness. You gotta make yourself happy before you make anybody else happy.
Awesome.
You
So
know?
breaking news. Chance is a good guy.
Yeah,
The Legion of Doom is a lie. And then I'm glad. So man, thank you so much for this. I think I'm not no offense to any of my previous interviews, but this was probably the most fun for me.
Awesome.
But this was awesome. And just I always leave with the last words of wisdom. And this time it's be humble, because the biggest challenge after success is shutting up about it. All right. And hey, so we're taking a hiatus like we always do. In November and December. We'll see you all in January. Everybody check out Chance. And thank you, my brother. I'll see you when I see you,
appreciate
man.
family.